Hi, bonnieviolet here of A Queer Chaplain. I wanted to take a moment to say hello and to introduce folks a little bit more to A Queer Chaplain and what that is all about for me. A Queer Chaplain, basically, my idea is to, be with people around death and dying. Not death and dying in the body, but death and dying in self, with the idea of like identity or beliefs or just coming to see things differently than what you once had and kind of dealing with that loss and the grief around that. And sometimes in my life that's been a struggle, and I haven't always reached toward my spirit or spirituality or tapped into myself to go through that process. And so I feel like it's been maybe a lot more challenging, and there's been a lot more resistance than needed through that process because I believed I wasn't allowed to access spirit. Like maybe I didn't even have a spirit or a soul anymore because of who I was as a queer person, as a person living with HIV, as somebody who had been sexually assaulted, had somebody who blah, 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 all these sorts of things that tell me that I'm not worthy or I'm not able to access spirit, creator, God, Buddha, like whatever it is, higher power, just something outside of self that sometimes I also believe resides within self as well. But like for so long, I didn't feel like that was a part of myself. The truth is actually my spirit had been there all along. My spirituality had been there all along. My God or higher power concept had been there all along. I just chose not to be in relationship with it through that process. So I've been able to kind of go back and look at my narrative and look at my experience and see where God, my creator, higher power concept, goodness, light, glitter, if you will, see where it was and see how it was at play in my life, even when I couldn't see it or feel it. What it's done is it's changed my narrative and it's built my resilience. It's created a faith in me that is beyond me and beyond my need to do everything for me, and to kind of like, I don't know, get back to that center belief that, that I don't know, it's just helped me to, I lost my frame of mind. I don't even know where I was at. So, in my process of changing my narrative, I've been able to build or notice my resilience and also my faith that I'm not alone in the world and that the world ain't out to get me, and that I can, with the help of others and with God or whatever, like I can have a different experience with life. And the great thing is, like there's still times now, no matter how much I surround myself in light and glitter and whatever, like I still have times when I can't see God, or I can't see the universe at play, or I can't see goodness. And because I've been able to see that it's been a part of my past, even when I couldn't see it, I have faith and hope that it's at play right now, even when I can't see it or feel it or understand it. And for some reason, that gives me some sort of peace and some sort of calm, or at least less, we'll see, more peace and more calm than what I would have experienced without it. I just really want to remind and help people to realize that this can become a part of them, that it is a part of them, and that they also get to define it and call it whatever you want. For me, it's just been an experience. It's been an experience that I attempt to convey in words, but it's just something that I know deep within. And sometimes I will call it God, and sometimes I'll call it universe, and sometimes I'll call it higher power, spirit, creator. Sometimes it just depends on who I'm talking with and what I feel like is more relatable or understandable. But in my belief, we're all oneness, that we're all together, we're all one. Separation is not reality, it's just a mindset. And separateness within self, but also separateness to others. And basically, yeah, I just want to have conversations with people who have been told or have believed that they didn't have access to such a thing, to begin to have it and to begin to experience it and to begin to reach for it and to begin to claim it and to begin to identify it, or just seek it in a way that hopefully causes you to have a better experience with yourself and the people around you. So for me, this is coming out in videos and performance pieces, just existing as who I am in my fullness and doing spiritual shit, but also doing one-on-one conversations with people, potentially facilitating groups with people who have a similar affinity or challenge, and kind of, begin talking about how do we bring spirituality into this particular situation, whether it's around spiritual trauma, or maybe it's addiction, maybe it's HIV, maybe it's around gender identity, who knows? Could be amongst about a lot of different things, but if being in a group can be helpful. And then identifying leaders you can trust and community that you could be a part of that can really honor and love you and hold you in a way that you need to be held, and to prepare you for the realities of what it is to be in a community that claims such a thing. So my hope is to identify these leaders, identify these communities, and these places and spaces in which we can be held and loved and connect better with our spirit and spirituality and our creator, because they do exist. The big key is like, how do we find it? Where is it? How do we create it potentially? So I want to have those conversations, whether they're one-on-one, whether they're on a podcast. I do have a couple podcasts right now. One is Splintered Grace, which is with my aunt. She's a conservative Christian woman, and I'm a drag queen, transgender queer drag queen. And basically, after 20 years, we've become close in relationship again, and we've been saddened by hearing so many families and different people choosing not to be in relationship anymore. And we wanted to model what it has taken for us to begin to be in relationship with one another, even though we don't always agree on everything, that we can still show up in each other's life in a very powerful way that matters to each of us individually. And then Queer Chaplain is another podcast that I created, which was just a way for me to capture interviews that I've done in the past on Facebook Live, so folks can consume it audibly while you're doing the dishes or driving to work, or whatever you're doing. So A Queer Chaplain is another podcast that currently has the Dragon Spirituality series, but I'm also working on a series where I'll be interviewing faith leaders to talk about how they're existing and creating space for people in this time in 2020. And also working on a sex and spirituality series, where I'll be going over probably about an 8-week series talking about sex and spirituality, so addressing shame and kink and gender, harm and healing, intimacy and love, amongst a couple other topics. And so you'll hear a little bit about my experience and my take as an expert, but just my experience, as well as then we'll interview somebody who I feel can speak on whatever topic that is that we're discussing that week, and then there'll be an opportunity for Q&A. So and I'm working with Chicago to do some really great programming around drag and spirituality, and a transgender spiritual summit, hopefully to happen in the springtime. So if you're interested in any of those sorts of things, please follow me. Find me on Facebook, find me on Instagram, find me on YouTube, whatever it is that you enjoy to consume good stuff. Search for A Queer Chaplain or bonnieviolet. You should be able to find me either way. And as soon as this stuff comes up and more is known, you'll be notified as well. I'm also looking for collaborators and people to work with. So if you're interested in collaborating on a project, reach out to me. If you're an individual who is seeking connection and understanding and just curious about your spirit and your spirituality, I'd love to have a conversation with you about that. Yeah, I'm really excited about this venture. I hope that this video was a little bit helpful in kind of giving a little bit more sense of what I'm up to and what I'm going to be up to. So I welcome anyone and everyone to reach out to me and have a conversation with me, because for me, that's what it's all about. So I love you. Take care. This is Bonnie Violet. See you soon.